all right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're watching from. Beautiful people out there. It's another beautiful day, so we're going to look into another topic. All right. So, in these new topics, I've already planned it as usual for proper arrangement and not to mess it up. This first thing we're going to look at is banner of the day message. It's supposed to be among one of the basic configuration, but I forgot to add it in the last video, so I'm going to include it in this network segmentation section of the video. It's just to display a message when you boot up your network device, such as router or switch. So that will take just few seconds to configure. Alright, then the most important topics today is layer 2 and layer 3 segmentation, which means separation of network. Alright, so if you want to separate network so that all your devices or your department will not be in the same subnet or in the same network, you can use either layer 2 method or layer 3 method. If you're using layer 2 method, you're using VLAN or using layer 2 switches to do that. And if you are using layer 3 method, you are using router, because router separate network naturally. Alright, so we're going to look at if you are using layer 2 separation, the basic thing we are looking into in this video is the layer 2 separation, which is using VLAN. Okay, so if you are using that method, there are two ways to create VLAN. Either you assign the VLAN to an interface and the switch will automatically create that, or you first of all create the VLAN before you assign it to an interface. Then how to configure an access port, that is the port going to an end host, and how to create a trunk port, a port going to another switch or a router. Alright, so when you separate a network, when you separate end hosts or end devices and put them into different VLANs, they won't be able to communicate anymore. So unless you use any method for inter-VLAN routing or for inter-VLAN communication. But Cisco packet tracer and open the file. I saved it. Alright, so minimize here, yes, packet tracer, here it is, open it by double clicking. Alright, it's loading, taking some time, let me refresh. Okay, it's loading already. Alright, so to open, either you go to file and then you see open option to open, but I'm going to use the shortcut Ctrl O to open existing file. So I know the folder I saved it to, it was under documents, so I'm going to click on document, scroll down, see basic configs, double click to open. Alright, so it was previously pre-configured as in using the basic configuration, but I'm not going to, there's no any VLAN configuration here yet. Alright, so the spanning tree is delaying the port from coming up, so after some seconds they're going to be fully up. Let me check the previous configuration on the PC and show you that at the moment that they are not separated on the VLAN, they can communicate with each other. Alright, so Ethernet 0. Okay, sorry, this PC have not been assigned an IP address. I think the 10.10.10 subnet was used in this configuration on the basic management IP configuration. So I think the PC was using 10.10.10.1 and then, sorry, the router was using 10.10.10.1 and then the VLAN 1 interface on the switch was using 10.10.10. Either 2 or 11. So I will verify that. Let me log into them and verify that anyway. CLI. Oh, sorry, I configure username and password PaulJ. Was this Cisco? That's incorrect. PaulJ CCNA. Right here, enable Cisco. Alright, so let me show IP interface brief to show the IP that was used on the switch. Okay, the switch is using 10.10.10.1. So let me check that of the router. Let me use the laptop console to access it. Desktop, terminal. Okay. Alright. PaulJ CCNA. That's wrong. PaulJ Cisco enable CCNA show IP interface brief. Alright, .10 is used here. So the reason why I'm verifying the IP address that are used on the devices is to know the IP address I'm going to assign to the PC so that they will not conflict. If they conflict, they cannot communicate. Alright, so let me look at the PC and give it .3. This PC 0 will be using .3. Alright, so this is go to the Ethernet port, static 10.10.10.3. Subnet mask is 255.255.255.0. Alright, I don't need the gateway because we are not communicating with we are not doing inter-network communication yet, so there's enough. I'm going to give this one .4. Go to config, go to ETA 0. Alright, so 10.10.10.4. so name mask is 255.0. Alright, so is enough. Then let me ping the other, sorry, desktop. Let me leave here. Command prompt ping 10.10.10.3. so it's pinging PC 0. I will show you that after I separate them on the VLANs, they will not be able to ping each other again unless we use inter-VLAN communication method. So it's pinging PC 0 now, and PC 0 can also ping it. Let me prove that. Ping 10.10.10.4, right? Oh yeah, they can ping each other anyway. Alright, so let me go straight to the network device here. We are going to work with only the switch because that's where you're going to create a VLAN and do trunking and stuff like that. Alright, so the first thing we say we're going to look at is the message of the day, banner message of the day. So if you turn on your device and you want to display some warnings, a message to the user, you can use this message of the day command to pass your message. Anyone that just get access to the switch will see your message when the switch come up initially or when it reload. Alright, so we're gonna go to configure terminal config. Alright, then banner, the command is banner, then followed by message of the day. The message of the day is usually shortened, so you see message of the day. So M for message, O for off, T for day, and then D for day. So let me put question mark if that's correct. Okay, that is correct. So you have to begin with any of these special character, pound sign, hash sign, dollar sign. So you put that before you type in your message. So for example, I'm going to use the welcome to PaulJ networking and electronics lab as the message of the day. So I will use capital letter to make it bold. Welcome working. And electronics lab. Alright, so I'm going to put the hash sign back, then enter, do right. Okay, so I'm going to show if it is active, so I will reload this switch and to leave this mode, reload. Yeah, confirm. So the switch is reloading. Okay, sorry, see the message here, message displayed. Alright, so let's leave that and go to the main thing we're talking about. So username is PaulJ. CCNA, oh sorry, cap lock is activated. I think it will. Alright, so let's go enable Cisco. Alright, let's check our work plan and see what's the plan. So we are done with that. I've already explained what layer 2 and layer 3 segmentation is. That is using VLAN and the router to separate network into smaller network. So let me explain something to you and the benefit of separating network into a smaller unit. Security benefit, and then also network performance improvement. In the terms of security benefit, what I mean is that when you put everybody in your organization into one network, then if one person send a message, a broadcast message and stuff like that, the other units are going to get access to that message. They can see that message, but maybe you want that message not to reach everybody. You want it to be within a particular unit only, but unfortunately, because you did not segment or you did not separate them from the various units in the network section, everybody can see it. So you want to limit that access, then you can segment the network either using any of the method, either layer 3 or layer 2. Layer 2 using VLAN, layer 3 using router. All right, so in the other area of the performance, what I mean by it, improve performance of the network. When network is not separated, if there is a broadcast message, if there is a multicast message sent by one of the devices in the network, the whole other devices will receive the broadcast message. So the broadcast message will be flooded. That is, it will be sent out of all ports that are in the same network. So sending that broadcast message will cause congestion because the link will be busy, flooding frame all over the interfaces. It will cause some slowdown in speed, congestion. If the network is really busy, packets can be dropped. All right, so I'm not here for a full lecture anyway, but I think that is very, very important. You grab some message. The reason why the segmentation of a network is very important. Then we are going to focus on the layer 2 segmentation in this video, which is VLAN. So I told you how to create a VLAN, so that's what we are going to look at right now. Two ways to create a VLAN. I'm going to use a VLAN 10. Let's use a VLAN 10 and VLAN 20. VLAN 20 as example. So let's go to the switch. I will make one of the PC to be on VLAN 10. I'll make another PC to be on VLAN 20, so we separate them. All right, so if I'm to doing that, I'm not going to do any configuration on the switch, on the PCs. I'm going to do all the configuration on the switch. So the interface going to the various PCs, we decide whether they are on VLAN 10, VLAN 20. So the VLAN you assign to the interface going to the various switch determine the VLANs they are on. Alright, so let me go back to the PC, to the switch. So the first method to create this VLAN is to create it from the global configuration mode. So I'm going to go to configure terminal to enter the global configuration mode. To create the VLAN is just to write VLAN, then followed by the VLAN number. I'm going to create VLAN 10 in this case. Alright, so if I enter like this, the VLAN has been created. Alright, so you can see I have been moved from configuration mode to VLAN configuration mode. So the config VLAN. So the VLAN has been created. I can now modify this VLAN. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do on this VLAN is to change the name. Let me say is for engineering department. This VLAN is for engineering department. So any PC that will be used by an engineering personnel will be placed on the port that is configured for VLAN 10. So let me name it as engineering department. Alright, so I supposed to enter is it a space? The space between the engineering and, could that be the problem? Alright, yeah, so the space between the engineering and the department was the problem. So I have named it. So what else can I do? Go to the interface that will, the PC or the end host that will be in the engineering unit will be connected to, and assign this VLAN 10 IP, and assign this VLAN 10 to that interface. So that's automatically place the end users on that VLAN 10. So let me leave this configuration mode, and let me go back to conft again. No, before I go back to conft, let me show the interface and how they are connected, the description, so that I will know the one that is connected to PC1. I assume the PC1 user is an engineering personnel, so I will place the PC1 user's interface on VLAN 10. So show interface description. Description is not recognized. Let me use tab to complete it. Show interface. Let me read the info description. Why is it not description? What's wrong? Show interface. Alright, packet tracer doesn't recognize the description command, so don't think the command is wrong. In real life, you can, in real device, you can use it, or even in GNS3 you can use it, but packet tracer doesn't recognize that. So let me show interfaces so that we see them all. G01, what's the description? Do I describe it? Connected, okay, no description. Or for easy way, let me go to the topology and look at the label, because we have enabled interface description. Use the space bar to move the write up quickly, pages per time. So let me go to the topology. I will easily see the description there. Okay, F01 is PC0 is connected to F02. So let me change the configuration of F02. I will assign the VLAN to the F02. Configure terminal interface F0/2. Then the command to assign an IP address to an interface is switch port access. Okay, first of all, let me make it an access port. I told you I will be configuring trunk port and access port. So what is an access port? An access port is a port meant for one end device, or for one device. It's not for multiple VLANs. So only one only one VLAN will be passing through that port. So this one is going to only one PC, and that PC will be operating on one VLAN. So you configure it as an access port, and you assign that VLAN to that port. So I'll first of all configure it as an access port. The command to do that is switch port mode, then access. I'll make this interface to be access port. So the next thing is to assign that VLAN 10 to that same access port. So switch port mode access. Sorry, I'm not using mode anymore. Sorry, forgive me. Switch port access VLAN 10. Oh my god, my battery is getting low. That's not necessary now. So the command is switch port access VLAN 10. Here's the actual command, switch port access, then followed by the VLAN you want to assign to the interface, which is the VLAN 10. So automatically the F02 is now on VLAN 10. Alright, so let me save my command, do right. Okay, so let's continue. I've already configured the VLAN 10, assign it to F0 for the engineering department. Okay, so let's say PC0 user is an engineering personnel, so it will be using VLAN 10. So let me prove that, as in, let me show if the VLAN configurations was saved. So show run. So let me go through it. If I will see that. Okay, so see interface first Ethernet 02, switch port access, switch port mode access, and switch port access VLAN 10. So VLAN 10 have already been created. Let me prove to you that if the network is segmented with VLAN, different network cannot communicate unless you use any means of communication, either using router for the inter-VLAN communication or using layer 3 switch for the inter-VLAN communication. So initially the two PCs were pinging each other, but since I have placed the PC0 on VLAN 10, they can no longer ping each other. So let me prove that. That's because the second PC, PC1 is on VLAN 1. Why is it VLAN 1? I didn't put any VLAN 1 on the interface connecting to the PC1. By default, all interfaces are in VLAN 1 rather. Sorry. By default, all interfaces are in VLAN 1. So if you don't assign any VLAN to it, it will be in VLAN 1. So let me try to ping now, whether the ping will still go through. Let me confirm the IP address here. This one is .3, so the other one will be .4. So I'll be pinging .4. Ping 10.10.10.4. Alright, so you can see it's timing out because it's no longer in the same VLAN. So to be 100% sure I am pinging the right PC, let me verify the IP address once again, though we saw it earlier, but for you to be sure. Yeah, that is .4, of course. Alright, so let me extend this topology to prove a point to you that if they are placed on the same VLAN, they can communicate. Let me add another PC and put that same PC interface on VLAN 10 as well. Alright, so go to end device, choose a PC, drag and drop, go to connections, use a straight through cable. Okay, I will use let me use fast Ethernet 4. Okay, 3 is free. Okay, let me use fast Ethernet 3 to fast Ethernet 0. So I'll give it .5. Go to config Ethernet 0, IP address 10.10.10.5 because the last one was .4. So we are using /24 network. So I'll use 255.255.0. Alright, so that is all. By default, the interface is on VLAN 1, so it can ping PC1 right now, which is .4. But if I change it later, it can't ping PC1, but we later ping PC0. But let's do that and confirm. Ping 10.10.10.4. Yeah, as you can see, it's going through. So .3 is on different VLAN now. It won't go through. Alright, it's timing out, so it will not go through till I put them on the same VLAN. So let me go to fast Ethernet 03/3 conf t interface f0/3 description connect to PC2 switch port mode access to make it an access port, switch port access, switch port access VLAN 10. Alright, do right to save. So let me prove a point now. The interface is negotiating, so it temporarily went down. It will soon be up. Okay, I'm waiting for the interface to come out before I ping. So see this light? When it's changed to green, then it's fully up. That's the function of spanning tree, trying to look at the port to avoid loop. So I will do the ping again and see what happened. The one that failed earlier will be going, and the one that was going earlier will not fail. So to PC0, which is .3, failed earlier, so it's supposed to be going now. So it's going because they are on the same VLAN now. So this PC, the user of this PC is now in the engineering department. Alright, so let me ping .4. It should be failing. Yep, that's because they are on different VLAN. Alright, so it's timing out. Let me go to the switch and complete the creation of VLAN process. I will use the second method now. The second method is to configure it from interface. Just assign the VLAN to an interface, and if the VLAN doesn't exist, it will be automatically created. So let's go. Conf T to enter global configuration mode, interface fast Ethernet 0, Ethernet 1. So we have not created VLAN 20, but I'm going to assign it to this interface. It will automatically create it. So that is the second method of creating VLAN. But you cannot edit the VLAN from this mode anyway. So if you want to edit the VLAN, you have to enter the VLAN mode again. Alright, so let's do that now. First of all, put the interface in access mode. Switch port mode access. Alright, switch port access VLAN 20, switch port access switch. Oh, I didn't spell it correctly. Switch. Alright, so do you see this? Access VLAN does not exist. Creating VLAN 20. So it has created the VLAN. So I will exit out of this interface configuration mode. Sorry. Then I want to edit the VLAN. I will enter VLAN configuration mode. So let me do that. VLAN 20 name. Let me say this one is for the accounting department. Accounting. Alright, so we are done with creating VLANs, making a port and access port. So the remaining part of the lecture is to make a port a trunk port. What is an access port and a trunk port? How are they different? I think I talked about this earlier, but I will still briefly discuss that with you. An access port is a port that carries only one VLAN, so it's usually connected to an end host or an end user such as PC. Then a trunk port is a port that carries multiple VLANs, many VLANs. So they are usually connected to either a switch, other switch, or a router or other networking device. Why is it necessary for that? So this PC1 is on VLAN 20, this PC2 is on VLAN 10. So when they get to the switch and they want to send message to the router, VLAN 10, VLAN 20, we have to pass through this port to reach the router now. So different VLANs are needed to pass through that port. So you have to make it a trunk port so that multiple different VLANs can pass through it. But in the case of the ports that go to each end host, you can see only one VLAN from the PC is passing through it, so there's no need for it to be configured as a trunk port. So for security reason, every port connecting to end device should be configured as access port. And when a port is configured as trunk port, it's advisable you do not allow all VLANs. So only the necessary VLAN should be allowed on that trunk port for security reason also. Alright, so we will make G01 a trunk. So the configuration is similar. Let me leave this mode with end, then conf t interface G0/1 switch port mode. Instead of access, you use trunk here. Alright, so to change to up soon. There's something very important here also. When you are configuring a trunk port, there are two protocols you can choose from: the Cisco proprietary protocol ISL and .1Q. Though modern devices normally pick .1Q by default, .1Q is an IEEE standard, so it's an open standard generally used. It's not a Cisco standard, so that's why it allowed me to go straight to configure the port as a trunk. Usually in an old model devices, it will permit you, it will ask you to choose any of the protocol first before you can make a port a trunk or an access. So to do that, I don't know if Packet Tracer supports that, but let me try that. To make to choose a protocol you are going to use, the command is switch port trunk. Let me put question mark and recognized. Okay, switch port Oh, sorry, is it correct? Switch port. Switch, that's correct, of course. Why is it not recognizing switch port trunk? Alright, okay. Okay, the options here are allowed, native, mode. So the option to choose that ISL or .1Q is not here, so packet tracer doesn't support it. There are other options here such as the native VLAN. So if you want to change the native VLAN from the default one, which is VLAN 1, you can do that here. And it's always advisable to change the native VLAN from the default one because of VLAN tagging. Alright, so we are not interested in that now. So we are going to allow some VLANs. Only the necessary VLAN that exists on this switch, which is the VLAN 10 and VLAN 20, will be allowed on this trunk so that a stranger cannot just try to do other security attacks such as VLAN tagging, double tagging, and stuff like that. So only have to allow the necessary VLAN. Let me do that with the allowed. Then let me put question mark. Okay, VLAN, have to type 10 and comma 20. All right, so that's it. Do right. Let me show you. Let me leave this mode and do some basic show command to verify your configuration. So end. The first command is to show VLAN brief. Show VLAN brief. Alright, so there are some default VLAN that exist. All these ones: FDI, token ring, FDD, default. So all these ones are default VLAN. You don't create them. Even though if you create any VLANs or not, if you show VLAN brief, you still see them in the show VLAN brief command. Then see the other two we created. Alright, so see the interface we are assigned to. The port, they are trunk on. Status, they are active. See the interface we are assigned to. I assign engineering to F02 for the PC0 and the F03 for the PC2. Then the accounting was assigned to only F1 for PC1. Alright, so I want to show another command to show you interfaces that were configured as trunk. So show interfaces trunk. Alright, so G01 is configured as trunk. You can see mode on mean it is a trunk. Then encapsulation, this encapsulation is what I was referring to as the protocols to be used. It's either you use ISL or .802.1Q. So 802.1Q is generally used now, so that's why it automatically picked it. So status is trunking. Native VLAN is the default one I told you earlier. Native VLAN 1 is the default native VLAN, that is VLAN 1. So allowed VLAN, which is the one we configured to be allowed, is 10 and 20. So you can allow more if you have more VLAN on the switch. Alright, so the port VLANs are allowed and active in management domain, meaning the VLANs are active. They were created and then they were also allowed on the trunk port. So if I just allow the VLAN that I did not create on this switch, if I allowed it, like example, I just say switch port allowed VLAN 30, but I did not create that VLAN, it will be on the switch port allowed, but it will not show this active management. So if a VLAN is allowed, it will not be appear here, but if it is not created on the switch, it will not appear here rather, sorry, but it will be allowed until you create that VLAN using the VLAN command or you assign it to an interface. So those VLANs are not blocked by spanning tree, so they are showing here VLANs in spanning tree forwarding state and not prompt, so they are in forwarding state. Let's review. I think that's the end. Any other one? Okay, so that is the end of this video. We have completed the work plan. So next we are going to look at inter-VLAN routing using either router on the stick. I will explain what router on the stick is when we enter that lecture, or using layer 3 switch, which function like a router also. So in this case, keep tuned, get ready, and always like and subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to press the notification button to get the latest post from me.
Hello, would you pick up the phone? Would you answer when I call? I wanna tell you that goes so
It's Young Fred, the dangerous producer.
Love, when you light up the sky, is it meant for us to shine? Already married and so I party no Buddha. Iwe mukao doko tizeko faida wango jimboterera. Love, would you pick up the phone? Would you answer when I call? I wanna tell you that goes so love, when you light up the sky, is it meant for us to shine? I'll be looking at the sky for some minutes. Tryna talk to love, but I'm afraid to. I did a lot of things I didn't mean to. I said a lot of things I can't even take back. I've seen so many things I should have seen, Lord. Sometimes I'm just afraid of